Hey, how's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Monster Taming and Chill podcast. Today, I'm very pleased to announce that I have both Kevin and Daniel on the show, otherwise known as the developers of Skyseeker, a Monster Taming Metroidvania RPG with real-time combat. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's going good. It's going good. Good to be here.
Same. Not much else to say.
Yeah, actually. Okay.
Good. Just before we dive right into the interview, I just wanted to preface this podcast by stating that all of the Skyseeker social media links will be in the description of this video, as well as a Steam demo that you guys can check out after you're done here. That being said, let's dive right in. So, tell us about yourselves, one at a time, I guess.
We already messed up the intro.
Oh, it's all good.
All right. I can go first. I'm Kevin. I guess. I'm one of the developers of Skyseeker. In real life, I would be a third year college student at MIT, but I'm taking a year off because of the whole remote stuff. So part of that is working on Skyseeker. Part of that is working on some other stuff. I guess I've been building games for a long time. I started out doing like Flash games back when that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
And then I've been working on a few other things since then. Got into the PC like Steam development a few years ago with so this is actually the same team. We made this Rain project game, and then took like a break for a bit, and now we're kind of all back and working on Skyseeker.
Yeah. I'm Daniel. You can call me Dawn if you want. I'm also, thank you, Kevin. I'm also a third year, but I'm studying in Wisconsin-Madison. And, Kevin really hooked me into this game development scheme. And, now here we are.
Are you guys both straight out of high school that you went to university?
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are what, like 21?
Yeah, something like that.
How old am I?
I think you're like
20?
20 and a
20,
half.
20. Yeah, 20. I'm 20. We're all, there's four of us working on this. And we're all high school friends that just kept in touch basically through college.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you guys had any, has the game development process had any sort of effects on like your relationships? Like have you guys gotten in any heated arguments or anything over the game?
Well,
Have we?
we've definitely had some very tense discussions.
Yeah, I think there was this time we were working on the other title, working on Rain. This was at a hackathon where we both had no sleep for like 20 hours. Yeah, and there was like there was some breakdown, but it resolved the next morning. So that was.
Oh my god! And then
that?
every few years, like every few like weeks when we made Rain, we always had this argument about whether we should bind the jump key to spacebar, and
Right.
it keeps coming back. Feels bad, man.
Okay, so
I think, yeah.
sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say so when we were working on the older title, it was during school, so we met like once a week. But for Skyseeker, we basically all could work on this full time for the past 3 months or so, like basically during summer break. So even if there were discussions, we usually just like went to lunch and then like tried to figure it out by the time we're back.
Okay, well, that's great. So that kind of goes into my next question. What inspired you guys to become game developers?
Yeah, that's a good question. What inspired me? I've been building games for a long time. I just like games in general. I think they're like a very interesting thing to do. Like you can be creative, but you can also like kind of show off like your technical stuff. So I don't know. It's always been something I just kind of wanted to do, and I kind of like always try and rope everyone around me to helping me do these. I think we did Skyseeker specifically because like we had this time, right? We've all finished 2 years of school, so we're all kind of like technically like competent enough to start something bigger. So we decided, let's just like we have a few months completely free. Let's try and see like the best thing we can make within this time. I don't know how Don feels about that one.
I think my primary reason was I didn't have a job. I had nothing to do. Yeah.
Any secondary reasons to go alongside that, or?
Well, I mean, I guess like kind of like what Kevin said is really big into games. Like I was mostly like I was gonna be like an art major in college before I like decided I wanted to do programming instead. So I've definitely been like a visual guy. Like I've made a lot of like board games in my spare time from like middle school plus.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
then,
I made a board game back at mine sucked though, but I made one back in middle school too.
what was it
I
about?
I don't even remember. It was basically just a knockoff of Mario Party, but
I
without
feel
mini
like-
Board
games.
game. Interesting.
I feel like so many game developers come out making board games in the beginning.
True.
I played one of Kevin's like Monopoly
Yeah, I was gonna
knockoffs
bring this one
when
up.
we were working. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so in the room we were working in, there's like a bunch of board games from my childhood, and then one of them was like it had nothing on it except like a handwritten thing that says Kirby Monopoly. So we opened it up, and it was like a game that I had made in like elementary school or something. It was like one of the worst games ever.
My game had permadeath. If you landed on a specific spot, you just died and lost the game.
One of the better features.
Dark
It's a
Souls, the game,
roguelike,
the board
yeah.
game. So what would you guys say? Sorry, actually, I'll ask this question first. Can you guys please describe Skyseeker in your own words in a way that someone who's never heard of the game can sort of get an idea of what it's all about?
Yeah. Actually, Don, do you want to try and do this?
Dang, I was about to say you want to try and do this. This is kind of hard.
It's kind of hard, right? Yeah, we haven't actually talked too much about this.
All right, it's like the map design of like a Metroidvania, but it's the real-time combat of like Smash Bros, but it's the monster collecting of Pokemon.
That sums it up pretty well, actually.
Actually, yeah, I don't know if I have anything to add.
Yeah, basically, from what I've seen, you basically, I'm not too far in the game just yet, but I know you have to. I mean, the title of the game, Skyseeker. You're trying to get to the sky or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you got a rival who is a douchebag. So you know that's always good.
Did you like the rival? We had a lot of fun designing the rival. We basically said we're just gonna make this like the most annoying guy ever, so it's very satisfying if you ever beat him in the end.
Well, I named mine Bisloba, so.
Yeah, we saw that was so good.
So what would you say specifically sets Skyseeker apart from some of the other monster taming games? This question was also asked by Marlon as well.
Yeah, I think so. The interesting thing is when we started it, I don't know if we even knew about this whole genre of monster taming games. We made kind of Metroidvania games in the past. So like we kind of started from that point of view and then said, okay, but like what if you could play as every single guy instead of just one guy? And then kind of went from there. It's like, okay, this is actually cool. Maybe you can catch everyone you see. And then I mean, both of us have played a lot of Pokemon, so that was one of the big inspirations too. So it was kind of, yeah, how do we make a world where instead of enemies just being there to kill, you can actually like play as every single guy, and like make all of the movements unique is also the other thing, which is since it's kind of everything's in real time, we can make the controls of every single guy feel very different. So like the big guys are slower, but they have like bigger attacks. They shake the screen, and then you have like some flying guys. You have some like jumpy guys. So everyone has like his own kind of unique feel. So it really feels like you're playing as a different guy and not just like changing your attack style on one big guy like you do in other Metroidvanias.
Yeah, for sure. Anything to add to that, Don?
Yeah, I guess like, I mean, Kevin said we're both really big fans of Pokemon, but I mean, do you watch Donkey?
Donkey?
Yeah, like video game Donkey?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, but
You
some
can say
people
it
some
anyways.
people do. But like what he said was like in like turn-based combats, the gameplay can get kind of dull sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when you're like overpowered. It's just one button steamroll. And then but like Pokemon is such like a great concept. Like the entire monster taming genre, like all these games are pretty good. So we were like, what if we just make it like real time and like, you can just fight the guy, and it kind of worked out. This is where we are now.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that because the last podcast I did, I was talking to the Patch Quest developer about how sometimes, especially me, because I'm always playing all these different monster taming games. I have a list of like I think 43 different games I'm trying to like get through, and I always have once in a while I'll get a little bit of burnout. Like I just finished let's say playing Nexomon, and now I'm going back to playing another monster tamer game, but I'm way low leveled. So a lot of the games are turn-based combat. So as much as I love turn-based combat, it is refreshing to see games that aren't turn-based combat as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I love turn-based combat, like when it doesn't become grindy, but like, yeah, there's a nice contrast between the two.
Yeah.
So I'll present the radical point of view, which is I don't like turn-based combat.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun. Banned,
So,
canceled.
I play every single Pokemon game, but I always just mash the best move on each guy. So like, it's like I like the storytelling though. The reason I like Pokemon and these other monster tamers is like you can tell stories with them.
Yeah.
And it's, like when me and Don did a Nuzlocke run a while ago, and that was like one of the best gaming experiences ever.
Oh my goodness!
Like we had like heroes rise and fall that like stepped up to save the run, and then like met their end in like an unfortunate encounter.
Which game was that?
What was it? It was
Black too, right?
It was Black
okay.
too,
Yeah.
but there was a randomizer on, so we didn't know what was coming up.
That was a disaster. Like all of our team got one shot by like a Wobbuffet. It was
there was a Wobbuffet that we couldn't get past.
Oh my goodness.
So you guys kind of already answered this question, but other than like let's say Pokemon, are there any other games that you could say that Skyseeker was inspired by?
I think on the Metroidvania side, Hollow Knight is a big one. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then I also think like some of the 3D Mario games, I really like the way that like platforming elements are just kind of part of the world. So it's just fun to kind of like move around. So this is part of the thing I try to see, like the Odyssey, how you can like play as all these different kind of guys.
Yeah.
We took some inspiration from that for like how we should change the controls when you get a new monster. It's not just like they walk faster, but like the fundamental way you actually interact with the whole world kind of shifts. And so you have to think about everything a whole different way. I think this is like a very interesting thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I took a lot of inspiration personally from like 2D games. Like Kevin said, like Hollow Knight. That was a really big one. And then I think like I kept going back to Ori. Like even though the graphics are completely different.
Yeah. Don always says Ori.
I keep going back because it's just such a well-made game. Like
it's good.
Every part of the map is like connected. There's some wherever you go, there's something interesting. And Zelda, Breath of the Wild, right? We had that one session where we were like, you could just fight Ganon like right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then like that's what we wanted to do for the bosses. We wanted to say like you can just fight, you can fight the Spitty God right off the bat, like if you just get all the balls, or you can just do it later. So, I guess that was one of the the
And that's something that gets opened up when you have real-time combat, because in a turn-based game, you can't really do that. Like if they could do something like that, but if you look at like, let's say Pokemon Sword and Shield, where you can go and counter those level 50s right away, but you can't catch them and they just one-shot you and you can't run away. It doesn't really work, but with a real-time combat game, it does.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things we tried to get away from is like, if you don't want to grind at all, you don't have to, as long as you're good.
Yeah.
Like if you can handle it while you're under leveled, then go for it and like have fun.
Yeah, that's definitely something you can't get in your typical turn-based game. It doesn't work out the same. Whereas it's like I'm a big Dark Souls Sekiro fan. Like that series of games. Yeah, like you in those games, like you could beat the game naked with soul level 1, and if you're good, right? Or you could level up, get better armor, do whatever. But yeah, I like that. I've always been a fan of that.
Yeah, it's actually funny because during development, I played Dark Souls for the first time because people kept bringing it up. So I was like, I'll just figure out how this works. Yeah, and I got completely like ass whooped. But I'm the kind of person who never grinds. I just run at everything. So my strategy was like, I got to the Bell Guardian fight at some point, and I was like super under level. Like I had no good weapons, so I just like fought it again and again for like 3 hours, and then eventually figured out how to beat it. And then I later looked it up, and I was doing like a tenth of the damage you're supposed to do.
Are you talking about the gargoyles, right?
The gargoyles. Yeah, sorry, the gargoyles.
Those give a lot of people. Those give a lot of people trouble. There's I mean, now I'm starting to get off topic, but there's a sword you can find like in the graveyard right next to the beginning area, and if you just level up your attack just enough so you can two-hand the sword, and I remember I leveled my attack up just enough so I could two-hand it. If I tried to one-hand the sword, I couldn't swing it. Like I'd swing it, but it swings like stupid or whatever. Yeah, you can use that, and then you just do a ridiculous amount of damage.
I remember Kevin just put like his stats wherever he felt like it.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just put them everywhere.
I put all my stat into like HP and stamina, because stamina in Dark Souls 1 increases your equipment load. So I was just fast rolling in Havel armor.
What?
Yeah.
It increases your load?
Yeah. In the first Dark Souls, in the subsequent games, there's a separate stat for that.
Dang.
Dark Souls 1 OP.
Maybe we should try Dark Souls 1 again.
I mean, I think I just didn't wear any armor because I didn't have it. So this is not the best run, but it was a lot of fun.
So, my next question is, Skyseeker has a very interesting premise from a lore perspective. What would you say inspired you to have the story that revolves around, like, trying to... I honestly, I can't remember exactly what the story is, but I believe you're trying to ring a bell or something to that extent.
Right. The story, I guess, for a newcomer, it's pretty vague, which is kind of what we wanted, and the whole idea is like to have this kind of sense of mystery. Like everyone in the world is trying to reach kind of the top of the world, the sky.
Yeah.
And to reach the sky, you have to ring all these bells along the way. But no one really knows what's at the top. And so the whole kind of lore around the world is based around these Skyseekers, these like adventurers who all, risk their lives to try and reach the top of the world. So the big question is like what is lying there? And it's kind of this whole build up, and then we won't spoil the ending here, but there's going to be some reveal as you get up.
I like that.
Yeah. I think we took a lot of inspiration from, there's this anime series, Made in Abyss. They do the opposite, actually. They say, what lies at the bottom of this abyss, this hole that just reaches straight into the ground. And then, there's all this whole like communities built around kind of diving down into there. Some of them come back up, and some of them never come back. And it's just this whole mystery along what's there. And so we just wanted to like just to capture this feeling of like, everyone wants to go there, but no one knows what's there. So you have to go. There's like no reason you wouldn't go.
I have a feeling your rival's going to go up there and get lost and die.
You'll see. He'll be there. Yes.
I guess part of the inspiration for the lore was like we kind of wanted to make the map feel like an ecosystem in a sense. Like we have like the mechanic of like life water, and it flows from the lily pads and stuff, and like it's in the air and the clouds and the fog, and like that's actually a pretty big part of the lore, but we're not going to quite talk about that yet. There's some lore part of that.
Spoiler warning, guys.
Spoilers.
So we kind of touched on this already, but Skyseeker also features real-time combat as opposed to the traditional turn-based combat we see in other monster taming games. Was real-time combat something that was really important to you guys? And if so, please explain why.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is yes. The long answer is I think we can do real. I think it's more engaging personally, and I think you can just do a lot more interesting things with real-time combat than turn-based combat. And the biggest thing is like you always have this chance to beat a boss no matter what stat you are.
Yeah.
Like in Pokemon, if you're just under leveled, you just can't do anything. But in certain games, like no matter if you're really good, you can beat the whole game with like a level 1 guy in theory, just never get hit.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what we wanted. And the other part is it's also like I feel like boss fights in particular are way more interesting in real time because you can kind of throw these like timing based attacks. You can throw these like
Yeah.
huge kind of stage changes that just change everything you play. And yeah, so like there's just a lot more possibilities, especially with the whole like fact that you can catch everyone with different movements. So like if you get a flying dude, the way you play the game completely changes. And if you're like a heavy hitting ground dude, so you can kind of like build your team around which play style you like better. Whereas in like in turn-based games, you usually don't have as much flexibility there.
Yeah, yeah. It adds like an extra dimension to the gameplay.
Right, right.
Yeah, I guess when it's like real time, there's like a different type of intensity. Like in turn-based, you can have those like quiet like thinking moments where you're pressured to make the right option.
Yeah.
But in real time, the pressure is more like in the minute, I guess. Like you really have to like make the option now, and it doesn't matter if it's like the perfect option. You just need to make one of the right ones.
Yeah.
That like split-second decision it makes gameplay really interesting. We actually had like a brainstorming session on like what kind of split-second decisions make your gameplay good. I think that really inspired a lot of our gameplay choices.
Yeah, it goes back to the Dark Souls thing. Like when you're fighting a boss, it almost becomes like second nature. Like you're just dodging to the attacks as it like almost like an instinct. It's almost like you're dancing. Does that make any sense?
Oh, dancing! Yeah, that's funny.
Oh,
You said
goodness.
that. The last game we made was called Iwate Mountain Dance, and it's so yeah. That whole metaphor has been there for a while.
There you go.
That game it's a bullet hell game. It's only boss fights. So we base a lot of our philosophy on what makes like fights just like fun to kind of master from that game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's also another. I just thought of this while Don was talking.
Yeah.
Like another core reason we really wanted real-time combat is it makes like exploration and combat like synced. Like they're the same thing. So,
Yeah.
like in Pokemon, you walk around an overworld and you fight in a different screen. But
Yeah.
in like Metroidvanias, you interact with the world the same way you interact with monsters. So you
Yeah.
can do so much cool stuff. Like you can hit like bomb plants or like other elements that could like either help you fight or unlock secret doors, and it's all part of this kind of same system. So you can get good at it all at the same time.
Yeah, I notice one of my biggest pet peeves with Pokemon is when you're in a cave and you don't have any goddamn repels. It just takes you out of the game
Yeah.
so much.
You're so right.
I mean, it's not just Pokemon. Temtem has that same issue too. It's just like, oh my god, guys. I liked it when they added the overworld, like the overworld stuff. Some I think Monster Crown has like overworld monsters, so you don't have to worry about all the random encounters and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's more seamless in a real time setting. You don't have to worry about like being taken out of the game. Okay, so roughly how many monsters do you guys have planned for full launch, and do you have a general window of when that'll be?
Yeah. What do you think?
We have like 70-ish planned with 50-ish done.
Oh wow.
Very rough numbers.
Yeah, I think it's around
Launch window?
that. Launch window. What for?
Tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I think we want to go. So the next step, we just released the demo, and the next step is we're gonna try and get a build out for early access, and that'll probably be early 2021. So I think maybe like hopefully January. We're trying to push for that, maybe February, but we're basically we gotten a ton of feedback when people playing the demo, so we're gonna take some time to like kind of process it, make the game good, and then once it's ready, we'll at least send a build out to early access. Probably stay there for another few months while we like just iterate again.
Yeah,
and then it'll be good.
Makes sense. Soon TM.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Have you had any particularly large obstacles throughout the course of development, and if so, how did you overcome them?
Don, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, map design week. I mean, by week I mean month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we first made the map, it was just this sprawling, like, I want to say mess. It was like a mess of like platforms and monsters with no real direction. Like you could head any direction for a solid minute and you would probably get lost because there were no key features. So we spent like a month like trying to figure out how do we streamline the map so you don't just get lost and lose sight of the objective. And I don't know how we fixed it. We did a lot of stuff.
We had a lot of philosophy sections on what makes a good map. And even now we're still kind of changing the maps every time. So I think that's definitely one of the trickiest parts is just like getting the feel of the map right. So
Yeah.
it's like both interesting, but you don't get kind of overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you have to maintain a certain amount of balance between, like you said, freedom and enjoyability.
Right. And we still don't even have the map, the actual map, like the mini map. That will be in the final build. We just haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah, true. I didn't even think about that.
We've had a couple requests for a mini map,
'Cause
or at least some openable map.
Yeah.
Just if anybody asks, there's 2 3-letter words that usually help. You just say get good.
True. Very correct.
I mean, if anybody's seen my Let's Play of the demo, I didn't die at all. I was just totally amazing at the game.
No way.
I didn't die 10 times.
Yeah, but that's actually that's why we like the demo, the feedback a lot. Is like when you make a game and you just play it every day for a month, you became like so kind of in tune with the mechanics that everything kind of feels good. And then you give it to someone new and they're like, I have no idea how this works. And you're like, oh, shoot, this is actually very confusing.
I'm actually... sorry, continue?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I was going to say, I'm actually a really big Metroidvania fan too. And in high school, I actually made a Metroidvania game on Game Maker 8. And the only thing is it doesn't have art because I'm not an artist. Like I did it all by myself, but I am not an artistic person. So I just use like placeholder, like paint art, basically. But anyway, I remember sending it out to some of my friends to test it. And they're all like, they made me like nerf everything. It's like, it's way too hard. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like the platforms would like disappear like the second you landed on them.
Right.
Like those breakable ones.
Yeah, it's hard. You get very disconnected with the user when you've been working on a game for too long. And it's funny you mentioned that you have placeholder images because when Skyseeker had placeholder images, those are some good screenshots that you
I think yes, we still do. They're just much better.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you can start coding it and like the code works well, but if you don't have the art, you're scared to show it because then people will just associate that placeholder art with the game.
Yeah.
So Skyseeker recently updated to version 6.1. Could you explain what this update entailed and what sort of updates you have planned for the future?
Yeah. What was 6.1 actually? we've been most of the so I guess MVP 6. So version 6 was the first release to the free demo, and then we're up to 6.3 now, and a bunch of those are just kind of quick feedback changes. So like we made the tutorial better. We made the starting area was a little too tough on the initial release, so we just kind of toned it down a bit.
Yeah.
And then we added a few things like stage elements. So there's now like spiked plants that you can trigger, and then they'll damage you, but they'll also damage the enemies if they get hit. So now there's some more interesting kind of combat based around those.
Yeah, 6.1 was our massive update where we went from having like a pretty small build to like 4 major maps, and like most of the fauna that we have now got made in 6.1.
Oh, right. 6.1, yeah. 6.1 was the first release, the first Steam release. Yeah.
A lot of platforming elements and like level design got changed. Like this was after our map design session where we like completely reshaped the map. So that's good. What else? We did blessings. Like almost all of our like roguelike blessing system got created in 6.1.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you guys want to explain that a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
you can go.
Okay, so like it's kind of like how in a roguelike when you walk around, whenever you complete like a floor or like a challenge, you'll gain some sort of bonus.
Hmm.
In Skyseeker, we have a similar mechanic where based on levels, your fauna will also gain unique bonuses that you can pick from, like increased movement speed or like stamina regen while you're standing still and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I don't know, are you familiar with like Binding of Isaac?
No, I've heard of this game multiple times now, but I've never played it myself.
Yeah, so that game is a really good upgrade system where like you get items that change. So you start out with just like a regular dude who can shoot in a straight line, and then you'll get an item that's like shots bounce off walls, and then you'll get another one that's like shots poison and split into two shots. So like your gameplay style changes a ton just based on what upgrades you get. So each run kind of feels unique.
Oh, okay.
And so we wanted to like emphasize the fact that you can train your fauna different ways to make them unique. So the blessing system works like that. So like every 3 levels you get another blessing and they stack. So you can like build your fauna differently. So like maybe I want my boomer dog to be this like super fast, high damage like carry, or I can like get a lot of healing on him and make him like tanky so he can kind of like be my front line. So you can kind of build the way you want just by choosing which blessings you accumulate as you play. So every guy is like kind of unique.
Okay, that makes sense. What? This is a good question. Do you guys have any idea which platforms are you going to be going for with the game other than Steam?
Yeah, I mean, I personally I want to release on Switch, but we haven't figured out any of the details or how to actually do that. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna get early access out on Steam first, and then like basically iterate on the game, make it really good, and then we'll figure out where else we can release it.
Makes sense. There's another question. Do you guys have any plans for a potential like PvP system?
Oh, we were just talking about this like 40 minutes ago. Now at the moment, no plans for a PvP system. I think it would take quite a while to rebalance all of the moves. Like right now, the moves are balanced for like AI versus player gameplay, which is like fair. But if we were to implement like PvP, then it wouldn't just be the moves, it'd also be like a lot of the engine that we'd be changing. But it's definitely still a possibility. It would just take a bit more time.
It would probably still be more balanced than Pokemon.
It's actually this goes to an interesting question, which is like how do we balance it? Because in Metroidvanias, the player is usually way stronger than the enemies. Because there's more enemies. But in Monster Tamer games, you kind of want everyone to have the same thing, so it's like it more feels like, you're just controlling the next guy. But it's actually this was something we struggled with for some time, which is like how do we achieve this balance where like the game is interesting to play, but you can still kind of feel like you're controlling just another guy on the street.
Yeah, it's definitely a complicated system to implement. And then you also have to think about like servers and all that other stuff too.
Yeah, I think something we could do, I'm not going to promise this, but something that's definitely more on the radar is like local co-op. So you can plug in a second controller and then just control another fauna. Maybe the same trainer, right?
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So this could definitely fit into the engine easier. But I mean, we'd focus on this after the whole single player thing is done.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so now I have some questions from the fans of the Discord server.
Sure.
We're gonna bang through these. So first one's by Marlon. Marlon's a champ, always asking all the good questions. Are you guys open to the idea of cross-game Easter eggs? For example, what we see with games like Cirillum, Monster Sanctuary, Coromon, and Monster Crown, they sort of did a thing where Cirillum has like a Coromon in it, it has a Monster Crown monster, and it has a Monster Sanctuary monster, and each of those games is going to have a monster from Cirillum.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I had not thought of this.
I'm on board for this.
Yeah, it could work.
Somebody contact us.
Yeah, basically.
That's what you want. We'll put it in the game.
I know. Okay. Developers that I know that are interested in cross game stuff right now, like that I know for sure said they were interested. I know the Necromancer's gift developer is, and I know the Patch Quest developer is.
Okay.
Maybe we'll make a little scheming.
Might have to slide into those DMs, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that could be pretty funny.
Just you get to the top and you just see a Digimon at the top. It's like, hey, what's up, guys? Would you guys consider some paid DLC or expansions provided the game's successful? Obviously post-launch. That was also asked by Marlon.
Ooh, not a big fan of paid DLC. If we're ever gonna add content, I think it's gonna be free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think along those lines too.
What about a potential sequel?
Yeah, sequel is a whole other question, and it depends how well people like this concept at first. But
yeah,
I mean, if this seems like something people are interested in, we could definitely do something like that.
I really haven't thought about this yet, but I think it's definitely on the table. We're kind of preoccupied with the entire game right now, though.
Yeah, we gotta actually finish the game.
You can have Skyseeker, then you can have Space Seeker, then you can have Galaxy Seeker.
Okay.
Fourth Dimension Seeker.
Some big ideas coming out here.
Okay, so we already went through this question. With regards to multiplayer, so we already went through PvP. But would you guys consider adding a trading element? That was also asked by Marlon.
Oh. Huh. I also did not think of this, yeah.
Pretty decent idea.
It could work. I guess the key part is like, well, we're not doing anything, so you can never not catch a guy. You can always catch every guy.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could just go catch him yourself. But I guess trading could be interesting.
I mean, trading would be like if you have like an optimal blessing set and you want some other guy's blessing set. That could be interesting. Yeah.
This could work. Yeah.
That way we can sell them on the black market.
Exactly. One thing we're planning, at least for like kind of a new game plus, is like instead of starting with the starter, once you beat the game, you can start with like a level 1 of any monster.
Oh, that's
make
cool.
The run interesting. So maybe this could fit in. It's like you want to just find a good guy through trading, and then you can start the game with that guy.
I love New Game Plus. Like I think that's a feature that a lot of Monster Tamer games are not utilizing, because New Game Plus is like, it's awesome. And like for more of those for more of those games that are more heavy on like the collecting side of things, like for example Temtem, you just spent 1 million hours breeding, you don't want to lose everyone. They could have it so it's like New Game Plus, but your guys get locked in the PC until you reach a certain point in the game or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a really good thing. And I think yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, yeah, New Game Plus I think would be pretty great for the game, because the gameplay changes so different based on what team you have. So, like,
yeah.
You can do a new run with a completely different team, and it'll be a very different experience. So we've kind of designed it around that it'll still be fun. Maybe even more fun the second time once you kind of know what's coming.
That's like, I hate to go back to it, but that's like one of the things I love in the Souls or Sekiro games is that
exactly
you can literally get, I mean the difficulty caps out at like NG plus 7 I believe, but you can go to NG plus 30, like you can just keep resetting and going. I personally like that, and then like, you know, all the more rare items start to get more common and stuff. I want to say Kindred Fates is doing something where they're going to have up to NG plus 7, I believe. And each time you get up to a higher NG, you get a slightly higher shiny rate, and then it caps.
Oh, that's kind of smart.
Yeah, and then other items that are more rare become more thing. The catch is, though, that game has permadeath. So when you're on NG plus 7, you better not be using your shiny.
I think there's some interesting arguments there. One of the things you do in Skyseeker too is you unlock blessings, and then they're permanent. And then once you unlock it, any fauna can randomly receive it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, at the first, you only have basic blessings, but you unlock better ones as you go on.
Yeah.
So then once you do New Game Plus, we could import your blessing list over, so you can start with the interesting ones.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
There's some pretty interesting blessings planned and already made.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say is one of my biggest complaints in Pokemon is that you can't new game plus, and then the next champion is your old team, so you have to try to kill them with your previous team.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
But
Oh, this may be coming. We won't spoil too much there, but there's
yeah,
some stuff.
but great stuff.
Since we were talking about shinies, Chicken Morris asks, will there be any sort of shiny equivalent in the game?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, there will be.
Cool. You guys hear that? There you go. 1 in 8 billion chance.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know about the chance yet. We'll make it something.
What was the hardest monster for you to design? That was asked by Bisloba.
I think Don has a story about this.
Okay. In terms of like amount of time we've spent designing a monster, Boomer Dog actually wins by a significant margin, because the boomerang was like originally like it could bounce like at a like it would reflect at like the same angle it came in, and it would like stay on the screen for like a solid minute or something, and you could only throw like 2 boomerangs at a time.
Oh.
And then we like redesigned it, and then we spent like so much time like changing the arc of the boomerang, like how fast you can throw the boomerang, how far you could leap. Just so much fine tuning went into this one fauna for like no particular reason. But it worked. So
yeah, that was definitely the most time consuming. I think the most like interesting one to develop like was probably the gill shroom, so the jellyfish that flies in the air.
Oh yeah, I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah, that one, it was actually a lot of fun to work on because the AI for it was just completely different from everyone else. Everyone else has this like ground-based pathfinding AI, but the gill shroom has this like swarming AI, so it like kind of automatically groups up with other gill shrooms in the air to form these like swarms that kind of navigate the map naturally. So they're really fun to watch because of this. But that's of course it was pretty complicated to get working. And especially just the movement is like, how do you control a guy in a platformer who's always in the air? It became this question. And then eventually we decided on this like kind of directional movement, but it's kind of slow and hard to control. But like if you position yourself in the right place, you can deal a lot of damage with the stingers as you pass through.
Yeah, it's really cool. I remember the first time I got the bird, the blue bird. I don't remember its name.
Yeah.
I felt so liberated. I was like, I can fly.
Yeah, that's one of the things we really wanted players to feel. It's like, oh, you see a guy who can fly, and you're like, I have to catch that because like it's just gonna change everything.
Okay. I think that's all the questions that we sort of asked. The only other one was I think Marlon wanted to know if you're gonna put any people NPCs in the game, like he specifically mentioned Monster Tamer Bisloba.
We can see, maybe first person to reach the sky will give something, some kind of memorial.
You could just have a tombstone with me and Bisloba, and it could just say, here lies these losers.
I'm so down. Wait, we should
do it out.
Oh, you know what? There was one more question. I don't know how I missed this one. This is asked by Seablade. Will there be any move tutors that will teach a group or specific creature a new unique move that they can't get otherwise?
Yeah, there are blessing tutors in the game, and some of the blessings change the moves you have. So there's some blessings where like every time you attack, a laser will fire, or like every time you attack, enemies will get knocked back from like an explosion. So yeah, instead of changing like the moves, because each move is unique and we want all fauna to kind of have that core thing, it's like a blessing tutor. So you can kind of build like some of these really unique blessings and choose which one you want them on once you find the tutor.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Yes.
And my final question, and I ask this to everybody now who comes on my podcast. I forgot with one dev, but I'll remember this time. Who is each of your favorite monsters in Skyseeker?
Okay, Don, you go first. I need to think.
All right. I'd say mine is one of the the tiny bear evolutions is Fog Bear. I came up with this design when I was like, why? I was thinking like, why does the World of Warcraft designer like pandas so much? And then I just made a panda, and I was like, oh dang, this is why. So like his moveset is like every time he rolls, he gains a different basic attack. Like when he rolls and he switches like into a completely white form, then he'll gain bonus knockback in a circle. But then when he switches into a completely black form, he'll have like a range slash that does bonus damage. And like it actually changes the gameplay quite a bit. There's a lot of like split-second decisions.
That's cool.
Why I like it.
Yeah, it's really unique. That's really cool.
Okay, I don't know. I'm in love with like all our fauna at this point, but I think one I really like is the anglerfish. So this is a guy you'll see in the fog ocean, and like the cool thing about him is it's like this little baby like floating guy that dies pretty easily, and that's all you'll see for the first stage. But then once you get to the second stage, you'll see like a little baby floating, the same guy, but when you get close, you can see like an invisible, like bigger fish that's using like the baby guy as bait.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so it's pretty great, and like the players are surprised when they get there. They're like, oh shoot, there's this guy. And then what they don't know is like later on, there's like this secret guy where it's using the bigger guy as bait, and then it's the boss, and then it's just this big ass dude. So this is like very fun to design, just like not from a gameplay perspective because we haven't worked out all the details, but like from a kind of the moment you see him, you're like, oh shoot, this is what this guy is. I think that angler guy is definitely up there.
That's pretty cool. I like stuff like that. Like keeps you on your toes.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess with all of that, I just wanted to say thanks so much, guys, again for coming on the show. And to those of you still watching, I highly recommend checking out Skyseeker. It's a ton of fun, and it's also quite challenging. So it's definitely something that you can both take joy in playing and take pride in completing. Any last thoughts, statements, or remarks before we wrap things up, guys?
You have anything?
Not particularly.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, thanks for having us on too. I'd say
having us.
Yeah, everyone check out more of Ed's stuff too.
Thanks.
I think I was so surprised when I joined your Discord. Me and Don joined at first that it was like so active, like the community.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised half the time. Like
it's so great. Yeah.
Sometimes I won't have time to get in there because I have a full-time job outside of YouTube, obviously. And sometimes I won't have a chance to hop in every once in a while, and I go back and I'm like, holy crap, so many people are talking.
Yes, yeah.
If you're not subscribed, follow this guy's content. He puts out so much content; it's actually incredible, and it's all good too.
So with all that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, like Dan said, make sure to subscribe. You can also check out my Twitter, Discord, Patreon in the description, as well as the Skyseeker information like I've stated previously. So until next time, everyone, peace.
See you.
Take care.